They told us we were alone in the galaxy. They lied. When Ralph, a loyal Earth officer stationed aboard Orbital Outpost 9, saw her for the first time, silver-haired, skin like sapphire, moving like she didn't belong, he knew something was wrong. But he couldn't stop staring. What he didn't expect was to walk in on her shedding her disguise under the station's sterile lights, revealing a body not made of earthly flesh, but alien perfection. She didn't panic. She didn't beg. She stepped closer, eyes glowing gold, and whispered the words that changed everything. "Keep my secret, and I'll keep you warm through every lonely night on this cold world." Now, Ralph faces a choice that could cost him his career, or awaken a desire far beyond human understanding. The Earth Federation had long believed that alien life, if it existed, would arrive with fleets, with weapons, with war cries echoing through space. But sometimes it arrives quietly, wearing a smile, serving food. Ralph had been stationed on Orbital Outpost 9 for 9 months. A decorated officer with zero tolerance for mistakes, his life was built on protocol and repetition, until she walked in. Her name was Celeste. She had no background file, no verified birth origin, and no prior station transfers. Just an assignment to the mess hall, and a face that turned heads, then hearts. At first, he brushed off her presence as just another recruit, but everything about her was too perfect. The way she never seemed tired, how her eyes shimmered with colors no human iris held, how she always stood still, completely still, when no one was watching. He started observing her, casually at first, then obsessively. He noticed how food never stained her uniform, how machines near her would flicker for a second, and how once, just once, her skin shimmered blue when the lights flickered. And then it happened. He followed her after hours, a gut instinct twisting in his chest, down through the storage bay, past the unmonitored corridors where even surveillance gave up. And there, under the dim pulse of flickering lights, he saw her shed her human mask, revealing radiant azure skin, luminous veins like glowing circuitry, and a form that looked sculpted by the cosmos. She turned around. She knew he was there. But she didn't attack, didn't run. She stepped toward him, the tension thick as vacuum. "You've seen too much now," she said, her voice a smooth whisper in the sterile air. "And I have no choice but to make you part of my silence." She reached for his hand and pressed it against her skin. It was warm, unnaturally warm. And as she leaned in, her breath on his ear, she whispered, "If you keep my secret, I'll keep you company every night you ache in this lonely place." That's how it began, not with war, but with a whisper, and a choice no human had ever faced before. I wasn't looking for anything strange. Not that day. Just the usual shift on Orbital Outpost 9, making my rounds, sipping coffee that tasted like recycled metal, and pretending I didn't care how slow time passed when you were stuck above Earth for 12 hours a day. But something caught my attention the moment I walked into the cafeteria. She was new, and not just new in the rookie staffer who got reassigned to the kitchen way. No, this girl, woman, looked like she didn't belong here. Not even on this station, not even in this galaxy. I remember how the tray shook slightly in her hands, but her face stayed calm, like she was measuring every move with precision. Hair white as ice, falling smooth over her back, skin glowing with an undertone I couldn't name. Pale? Maybe. But there was something lit from underneath. Too smooth. Too perfect. "Name?" I asked her casually when she passed my table. Not because I needed it, just because I wanted to hear how she sounded. "Celeste," she replied, eyes meeting mine for half a second. Enough to send a jolt through my chest. Not fear, not exactly desire either. Something curious, dangerous. Her voice had a resonance to it like it was perfectly tuned to my ears. And the way she looked at me, It wasn't nervous. It was calculated, as if she was already planning what to say if I asked too much. After she moved on, I sat in silence longer than I should have, watching her. Every motion she made was too precise, too measured. Most staff dropped trays, grumbled about grease, stole bites. Celeste didn't fumble, didn't blink much either. Her balance was flawless. I even noticed her avoid stepping on the grates in the floor, without ever looking down. I told myself I was imagining things. Space gets to your head, makes you dream up stories to fill the void. But that same night, when most of the station powered down into soft light mode, I found myself walking past the cafeteria again, just checking systems. That's what I told myself. That's what I told the console when I logged my location. She was there again, alone this time, cleaning. I watched from the doorway. Her back was to me. She was wiping down a table in small circles, almost hypnotic, and then, for just a moment, her hand faltered. The cloth slipped, and the skin of her wrist, just a sliver, shimmered. Not sweat, not oil. Something underneath the surface. A pulse, a faint glow, like stars caught under skin. I stepped inside without thinking. Still working? She didn't flinch, just turned slowly, eyes locking with mine. "Couldn't sleep," she said softly, straightening up. "Cleaning helps." I nodded, pretending that explained everything. "Where were you transferred from?" She tilted her head slightly. "You wouldn't know it." That answer should have ended it, but it didn't. "Try me." She smiled, only with her lips. Her eyes remained still. "Farther than protocol allows." I laughed nervously. "You always speak in riddles?" "Only when truth sounds dangerous." There it was again. That feeling in my gut. Like she was playing chess with every word, placing her pieces one at a time while I stood staring at the board, unsure if I was even a player. I leaned against the wall and folded my arms. "So what brings you here? Earth Station food that bad?" She set the cloth down gently, almost too gently. "I'm hiding. Isn't that what everyone's doing here in their own way?" That shut me up. I didn't have a comeback for that. The lights flickered once, standard fluctuation. But in that second, the glow returned. Her collarbone shimmered faintly, catching the pulse of the station light. She noticed my stare. "You're observant," she said. "It's my job." "I hope you're not too good at it," she replied quietly, walking past me to the counter. "Some things aren't meant to be observed." I didn't sleep that night, and for the next few days I watched her more carefully. Every shift she worked, I made a reason to be nearby, and every time she caught me, not with annoyance, not with interest, just knowing, like she was waiting for me to put something together. It became a game I didn't realize I was playing, until the night I followed her, and saw everything I shouldn't have. But that moment, that's a different part of the story. A moment that would rewrite the rules of everything I thought I understood, about duty, about secrets, and about what happens when two beings from different stars dare to cross the line. I wasn't supposed to be there. Technically, I'd logged out hours ago. My shift ended. I should have been in the sleep pod staring up at the recycled air vents waiting for the white noise to drag me under. But I couldn't rest. My thoughts kept circling her. Celeste. The way she spoke like every sentence was hiding a war. The way her skin shimmered when the lights dipped, how her eyes never quite blinked fast enough. I told myself I'd just walk by, just check, just look. But my feet moved like they already knew where they were going. Through Hall C, past the access doors, toward the dry storage wing, the quietest place on Outpost 9 after midnight. Most staff avoided it, too cold, too dim. But that night, there was warmth. A soft, golden glow spilled through the cracked doorway. I paused, breath caught in my throat. She was there, alone. Her back was to me again. The jacket of her uniform was unzipped, peeled down to her waist. Her upper body, bare from the shoulders up, was glowing. Not just shimmering, glowing like starlight under flesh. Veins pulsed faintly with a bluish-white current. Her spine held ridges, subtle but too symmetrical to be human. And her hair, now loose, was nearly floating, swaying slightly, as though responding to invisible waves. I should have backed away. I should have turned and never spoken a word. But instead, I whispered, "Celeste?" She froze. The glow on her back dimmed slightly, as if her body reacted to fear. She didn't turn immediately. I heard her exhale, slow and steady, before she said, "You weren't supposed to see this?" I stepped inside. Not fast. Careful. Like I was approaching a wild animal. My eyes didn't leave her for a second. I knew something was off, I said quietly. But I didn't expect. Her head turned slowly, and then her body followed. She made no effort to cover herself. In fact, she stepped into the light, fully illuminated now, and I saw her, truly, for the first time. Her skin wasn't just blue. It was layered in gradients, moonlit silvers near the collarbone, stormy turquoise at the edges. Her chest rose and fell gently, perfectly proportioned yet unmistakably alien. Her eyes had no whites, just glowing rings, shifting colors like galaxies in motion. She looked at me with no fear, just acceptance. "Now you know," she said. I didn't answer. I couldn't. My mind was a storm of protocol, training, shock, and something else. A low hum in my chest I hadn't felt in years. Awe. Celeste took a step closer, then another. Her hand reached up and rested lightly on my chest. "I've been running a long time," she said. "Hiding, blending in, eating food that makes me sick, wearing a skin that itches, keeping my voice locked inside." "Why?" I asked. "Why come here? Why now?" "Because Earth is the last place they'd look," she said bitterly. "And because your kind—" She hesitated, eyes softening. "Your kind still dreams. You still look at the stars like they mean something." She let her fingers trail across my shirt. Her touch was warm. Too warm. Like standing near a fire. "You saw something no one else has," she whispered. "So now I have to decide what to do with you." I stiffened. "If you think I'm going to stay quiet." She pressed a finger to my lips. "Shh," she breathed. "I'm not threatening you." My heart pounded. "Then what are you doing?" I asked. She leaned closer, her face now inches from mine. I could smell her. Not perfume, not sweat. Something floral, foreign, and faintly electric. "I'm offering a trade," she said. "One you'll never read about in your manuals." I swallowed. A trade? Her hand moved to the back of my neck. "You keep my secret," she said, voice barely audible, "and I keep you company. Every night, every ache, every dream you thought had died up here." I stared at her eyes, at the strange glow that pulsed beneath her skin, at the lips so close to mine. "You'd offer yourself for that?" I whispered. "No," she replied. "I'm offering us something real, something they'll never allow. You keep my truth safe, and I give you something better than orders. I give you the stars, right here, in your bed, in your arms." My mouth was dry, my thoughts raced. The right thing to do? Report it, call security, contain the breach. But nothing about this felt like a threat. It felt like fate. I didn't know what I'd say yet, but I knew already. I wasn't walking away. I didn't report her. I told myself I needed time. Time to assess. Time to confirm what I'd seen. But the truth? The truth was, I didn't want to lose her. And somewhere in the back of my mind, I knew if I told Command about Celeste, I wouldn't just be turning in an alien. I'd be ending something that had barely begun. The nights that followed blurred together. She no longer avoided me. In fact, she waited. Every night, once the station dimmed and the corridors quieted, I found her in my quarters, or sometimes already inside, curled up like she belonged there. The first time I touched her without fear, It was almost by accident. Her fingers brushed mine as I handed her a glass of water, and the spark that passed between us wasn't metaphorical. It was literal. Like static, but deeper, warmer. It lingered long after the contact ended. Celeste's body temperature ran high, I learned. Sleeping beside her was like holding a son, and sleep was a loose term. Most nights I didn't rest. I memorized the way she breathed, the way her back curved, the soft glow that pulsed from her chest when she dreamed. She told me pieces of her story in whispers. Her planet had fallen, not from war, but from something worse, betrayal. Her kind had once ruled a region of stars, guardians of knowledge and light, but internal power struggles turned their empire inward. She was part of a royal bloodline, hunted not for crimes, but for her DNA. "If they find me," she said once, tracing a glowing line down my arm, "they'll use me to breed a new generation of weapons, living ones. My body isn't mine if I go back." I remember the silence that followed, heavy, crushing. "You don't have to run anymore," I whispered. "Not alone." Her eyes found mine. "You don't know what you're offering." "Then show me," I said. She did, but the station wasn't blind. Whispers started circulating. Someone had seen us too close in the corridor. Someone else mentioned unusual power fluctuations in Sector 3, right where I'd stored her alien disguise unit. A junior officer even asked me, half joking, "Who's the Ice Queen and how'd she land a bed in your wing?" I laughed it off, but I knew. We were slipping. And then came the ping, a security audit. Random, they said. Just routine cross-checks. But nothing on Outpost 9 ever happened without a reason. Celeste and I panicked. We purged logs, wiped my quarters clean, destroyed the biometric residue. She even altered her own pulse pattern to avoid detection, a trick she said would cost her days of pain. "I can vanish if I have to," she told me. "Change my face, my scent, my voice. You'd never find me again." I grabbed her shoulders. "You're not disappearing. We'll figure this out." Her expression faltered. For the first time, I saw it. The fear she always kept hidden. The knowledge that she'd survived so long by never loving anything enough to stay. And here I was, an Earth soldier, making her feel something that made her weak. She touched my cheek and whispered, "You've already risked everything. I won't let you lose more." "You're worth it," I said. She leaned into me, forehead against mine. "Then listen to me. If they take me, don't fight. Don't follow. You'll die, Ralph. I've seen it happen before." "You're not going anywhere," I said again. But I didn't believe it. Not completely. The night before the audit, we lay together in silence. I traced the glowing lines on her skin like they were constellations. Her heart beat fast beneath my hand. "If you had to forget me to stay alive," she asked, "would you?" I didn't answer, because I couldn't lie to her, and I couldn't bear the truth. Outside the window, Earth spun in slow orbit. Quiet. Oblivious. Inside my room, I held a woman who wasn't from this world, but had somehow become mine. And all I could think was, how much time did we have left before someone took her away? The audit team arrived like a storm wearing smiles. 2 officers from internal security, both in sterile gray uniforms, eyes colder than space. They said the inspection was standard, part of a rotational check for anomalies in resource logs, biological registries, and behavioral reports. Nothing personal, nothing urgent. But I knew better. They weren't here for missing rations or fuel leaks. They were here because someone had whispered something about her. I played my part, calm, collected, my uniform perfect, my logbook clean. I answered every question like a man with nothing to hide. But under the surface, my skin buzzed with anxiety. Celeste was in my room, hidden beneath the false panel we'd installed behind the thermal core unit, a space barely large enough to breathe. She didn't argue when I told her to hide. She just nodded, kissed my forehead, and disappeared. The moment they stepped into my quarters, I felt the room shrink. The taller one, Lieutenant Greer, had a scanner in his hand and eyes that didn't blink enough. The other, Mathis, was friendlier, but that kind of friendly that feels like bait. "Mind if we take a look around, Lieutenant?" Greer asked. "Not at all," I lied. They moved efficiently, sweeping every surface. The scanner buzzed faintly as it passed over walls, clothing, even the sleeping unit. I kept a straight face. I had to. But inside, every second stretched into a lifetime. I imagined the heat from the thermal core giving Celeste burns. Imagined her heartbeat betraying her through the metal. Mathis opened my locker. He pulled out a spare uniform, held it up. "Smells like someone else's perfume," he joked. I shrugged. "Laundry's recycled across 3 wings. You know how it is." He smiled. Greer didn't. When they moved toward the wall panel, I felt my stomach drop. That was it. The false panel. Just 4 more steps. A single scan would trigger the signature of her bioheat. I was seconds from losing her forever. But then, the emergency lights flickered. A sudden power flicker. A distraction. The scanner in Greer's hand buzzed erratically, gave a high-pitched chirp, then went dark. "What the hell?" he muttered, tapping it. I didn't dare speak. They checked the battery, tried a reset. No signal. "Could be interference from the core," Mathis offered. "Fine," Greer grunted. "We'll rescan later." They turned back toward the hallway, and I almost collapsed. Before they left, Mathis paused. "You've been quieter lately, Lieutenant," he said. "Spending a lot of time alone. No one's seen you in the rec wing." "Been catching up on reading," I said quickly. He gave me a long look. "Reading can be lonely work." I didn't reply. After they left, I didn't move for a full minute. Just listened to the silence. Then the wall hissed softly. The panel slid open, and she stepped out. Sweat glistening on her skin, eyes wide, lungs gasping. "Are you okay?" I asked, rushing to her. She nodded, but trembled as I held her. I tried to suppress my bioheat signature, but it was painful. "You saved us." "No," she whispered. "Someone else did." "What do you mean? That power flicker?" "That wasn't random. Someone triggered it." My blood ran cold. "Who?" She shook her head. "I don't know, but someone's watching, and they didn't want me found. Not yet." We sat in silence, wrapped in the heat of our fear and the comfort of each other. But it didn't feel like safety anymore. It felt like a countdown. That night, Celeste didn't sleep. She sat at the edge of the bed, arms wrapped around her knees, watching the stars through the viewport. I joined her, placing a hand on her back. "I don't want to leave," she said, "but I'm endangering you." "You didn't ask for this." "But I did offer something," she replied, turning to me. "And it wasn't just warmth." "It was trust," I said. She nodded. "And now someone else knows. We don't know if they're a friend or trap." I kissed her then, not out of desire, but desperation, as if my lips could stop the future from happening. The kiss deepened. It wasn't soft. It wasn't slow. It was a collision of 2 worlds, trying to stay tethered in a galaxy that didn't want them together. And for that one night, I didn't care about audits, about command, about protocol. I only cared that she was still here, still mine, still fighting. There's a difference between hiding and surviving. We thought we were doing both, but the moment that audit failed to catch her, the game changed. We weren't hiding anymore. We were being watched. Not by the system, but by someone behind it. Someone who wanted to see what a human man would do when handed the galaxy's most beautiful secret. 3 days passed, each one colder than the last. Celeste hardly spoke. Not because she was afraid, I think because she was preparing herself. She spent hours sitting near the viewport, legs tucked to her chest, watching Earth spin in slow silence. Sometimes I'd catch her mouthing something in her language. A prayer, maybe. Or a goodbye. Then came the encrypted message. It bypassed all command logs. It didn't even ping on security. Just a raw stream of 3 short lines. You've been compromised. Surrender the alien, or be neutralized with her. There was no name, no seal, just silence after that. The kind that chills your bones. I didn't tell her right away. I needed time. I needed to believe I could fix this. I contacted every channel I had. I even tried speaking to my old CO. No one replied. Or worse, those who did spoke in riddles. Some were too scared, some were bought, and some just hung up. But Celeste already knew. I found her waiting when I returned to our room. She stood in front of the viewport, bare feet on the metal floor, arms at her sides. "You received the message, didn't you?" she asked. I nodded slowly. "They want me to hand you over?" She smiled faintly. "Of course they do." "I'm not going to." She turned. Her eyes shimmered with something deeper than sorrow. "You think this ends with them taking me?" "I think it ends however we choose to fight." "Ralph," she said gently, stepping closer, "I'm not meant to stay. I knew that the moment I let you touch me. The second I let you in. You were always going to be my last moment of peace." "I don't care what you were meant for," I said. "I care about what we built." She reached into the hidden compartment in the wall and pulled out something I'd never seen before, a small metallic sphere, softly pulsing. "What is that?" I asked. "A memory eraser," she replied. "It's designed for humans. If you use it, you'll forget everything about me, every second, every word. Your life will continue, clean." "No," I said, stepping back. "You're not doing this." "It's not for me," she said. "It's to save you." "I don't want to be saved from you." Her voice cracked. "If they come for me, they won't kill you. They'll take you apart. They'll use you to track me, to manipulate me. They'll make you a ghost inside your own mind. I'd rather have you forget me than become a weapon to destroy me." I took the orb and stared at it, trembling. So small, so simple. One click, and I'd never know her name again. Then the alarm blared. Unauthorized boarding, Bay 4, lockdown in 60 seconds. It had begun. Celeste didn't flinch. She looked at me, then at the orb. "You know what to do." "No," I said. "They're coming. I don't care." "I do," she said softly. She kissed me. Not like a goodbye, not like a thank you, but like a claim. And then she was gone, out the door into the chaos. I stood there, heart pounding, frozen. The orb was still in my hand. I heard boots in the hall. I heard shouts, static, the charge of weapons, and then her voice, not screaming, singing, her language clear and bright and filled with defiance. I ran. I turned the corner and saw her, arms raised, glowing with power that shimmered like fire beneath her skin. She stood between the soldiers and the override gate, unarmed but unshaken. And then, for the first time, I understood. She wasn't just a fugitive. She wasn't just a woman who fell into my life. She was a royal, a survivor of a broken star empire, a queen walking into war so that I might be spared. I looked down at the orb, and I crushed it. Let them kill me. Let them wipe me out. But I would not forget her, because some secrets are worth dying for. And her name was Celeste.